in our discussion we have discussed about primary data types and secondary data types. So these these arrays and one dimensional array or two dimensional array. So these arrays basically belongs to secondary data type, right? So why secondary data type is because uh, you know they have been derived from some primary data type. For example, let's say if we are saying integer array, that is derived from one basic data type, that is integer. If we are saying that it's a floating point array, so again it is being derived from some basic data type, that is floating point variables. So how the concept of array came into the mind of Dennis Ritchie or any programmers before that. So the condition, let us imagine in your mind that let's say you have to calculate, the average marks of 5 students, and how you can do that. So you can, for that, whatever we have discussed till now, if you try to utilize that knowledge, so for that you need to declare 5 variables, and these 5 variables will contain 5 different values. Then you can add them and then you can divide it by 5, and of course that will give you average of 5 marks. So this is simple when there are only 5 students and there are only, let's say, 5 marks. If you have, let's say, 100 or 1000 student, 1000 marks, let's say, so how will you calculate the average? So again one can say that जैसे यहाँ पे 5 वेरिएबल्स डिक्लेयर करा हमने, वहाँ पे 1000 वेरिएबल्स डिक्लेयर कर देंगे, है ना. सो मार्क्स 1, मार्क्स 2, मार्क्स 3, मार्क्स 4, अप टू मार्क्स 999, अप टू मार्क्स 1000, and so on. Of course you can do that, but that is not the smart way of doing it, because if we will do it like that, programming will become very very tedious, and people will think that why to write a program. I mean, it is easier to use pen and paper and calculate the average marks using a calculator. Why to use a computer and then write a program if it is that difficult? So to make it simple, the work of the work of all these languages and all these computer and all our computer scientists like us, so the work is, our work is to make the user's life simple, right? So how to make their life simple? So to make their life simple, we can use array of integers, or let's say if the numbers are in fractions, so we can take array of float and store the numbers of 1000 marks of 1000 students or something. There is another situation. Consider that you want to store some names in your program, like Kanpur, like Sam, like Mukesh, or anything. So how can you store names? Now these names are combined and made up with the help of characters. So there is a way in C language to store characters, but there is no way to store names or a series of characters. Do you follow? So you can declare some characters like, you can write char C, and then later on you can assign something in this char. That's fine. But if you want to, instead of A, let's say you want to store something bigger than A, let's say Arun. Now there is no way in C to store Arun in one variable. Yes, of course, you can declare other character variables and store one character in each of the variables, and then somehow you can store the name, but that is not the natural way of storing name, right? Because we do not want the name to be stored in separately in one character in one variable. That is not the natural way of storing names. We actually, what we want to store the entire name into one variable. So again, how it is possible? So this can only be made possible when we are using something called array. So what is an array? The question is now, what is an array? So the simplest answer to this question is array is a collection of similar data type, or in the other way, that the similar data type word can be combined in one way and can be called as homogeneous data type, right? So what is an array? Array is a collection of homogeneous data type or similar data type. What does it mean? It simply means that if we are having an array, all the elements of the array will be of same type. For example, if we are declaring an array, the way of declaration of array we will discuss it in detail just in few slides, and that what is the meaning of all these words which we are writing here. But let's say if you are declaring an array like this, what does it mean? That this array whose name is A will have 10 number of elements, and all the elements will be of integer type. That is the meaning of such a declaration, right? So it is similar as we declare, let's say, int I. So what we say that the name of the variable is I, and which type of data it will store? It will store integer type of data. Similarly, when we declare something like this, here the name of the array is A, and it will be storing 10 elements, and each element will be of integer type, right? This is the first thing. So the first thing is, first thing about array is it is a collection of homogeneous data type. Now second character of array is it stores in contiguous memory location. Now what does it mean? Contiguous memory location means what? So let's say you declare some array as, let's say, int, or let me write it here. So let's say you write int a of 10. So what will happen in memory when you write some statement like this? What happens, let's say, what happens? So you should understand the analogy with the normal declaration. Let's say you write int I. What happens in memory by writing this line? In memory, let's say some memory is being reserved for integer, and it is compiler dependent, we already know. So let's say if it is a 32-bit compiler, so it will store 2 byte, and it will assign it a name I. It will have some address also, let's say 229 and 230. It's something like this. Okay. Okay. Now, and there will be some value in this. So since it is automatic storage class, we have already discussed, some garbage value will be stored. Let's say 229 minus 229 is stored inside this. This is something garbage. So this is what, this much will happen when you say something like this. One variable will be allocated a memory, right? It will have a name, it will have some value, it will have some address as well. Now, let us come to the case of array. Once you write something like this, what will happen in memory? So, in memory, there will be memory allocated for, 10 such integers, since the type of this array is integer. So, what we consider is there will be 10 integers in this array. Again, the name will be assigned with this whole memory block. Again, every array in this 10 array, every element in this array will again have the similar characteristic as we have for integer. So all these elements will have 2 bytes, right? So all these elements will have size 2 byte because all of them are integers. So if somebody will ask you what is the complete size of this element A, then what can you say? For example, if you write something like size of, and then you pass the name of the array, what it will give? It will return, in this particular case it will be 20, right? Why 20? Because this array will contain 10 integers, and in combined 10 integers will take 20 bytes. So simple. So this is the meaning of this declaration. Now also, so this will be the name, something will be the address. Let's say 429 will be the address. This is the address of the first byte of the first element. Then similarly, next element will be stored where? 431. Why 431? Because 429 is the first byte address of the first element. Now first element is taking 2 byte. So the second element will start from 431. The third element will start from 433, and so on. Yes or no? So the elements of the array stored in contiguous memory location, right? So one after the other immediately. Like, again, like you can understand the analogy with government quarters. It is always in sequence. You see, one quarter after the other quarter, if you have seen a government colony, right? So one quarter will be there, and then the gate will be there again. Then next quarter will be there. There will be a gate. Next quarter will be there, and all these are similar. So all of the quarters will have the same amount of land. So it is the same case in the case of array also. All the elements will have the same number of memory, same amount of memory for them, right? So that is what an array is all about. So two things important, right? First is what? The array is a collection of similar data type. Second is what? The elements are stored in a contiguous memory location. For example, let's say there are two arrays, right? So the first array is storing the name ARRAY array. So here, let's say if you say which type of array it will be, so it will be a character array, of course. I mean, all the elements are character here. You see the first element will be A, it is a character, second element R, A, Y. So this ARR1 will be a character array. How can you declare such an array? So to declare such an array, you write char this whatever name you want to give, a array of 1, and then in bracket you write the size. So how much size it has? It has 5 bytes, 5 characters. So you can declare it like this, right? So char the name of the array and then the size and then a semicolon, right? So this is how you declare an array. Now, so you see all these elements are stored in a contiguous memory location. Similarly, you can declare an integer array like array of 2, they have named, and the elements are stored in like this, right? So this is what the meaning of array. All the elements of the array will be of same data type, right? Similarly, there is a floating point array. Similarly, you can have an array of structure. Array of structure means what? Array of collection of similar array is a collection of similar data type. Structure is a collection of dissimilar data type. So can you have an array of structure? Yes, of course. I mean, let's say you see this example. In this particular example, what happened? Let's say you have declared some structure like struct n, give it any name, and inside that you, let's say you have written int I, and then you have written char c, and then that's it. And now you want to declare some array of this characters, some array of this structure. So what you can do, you can write it like this: struct written, this is the name of the structure. Now what is the name of the array? So give it any name, like they have given array 4, let me give the same name, array 4, and then in bracket I can write the size as 5 and then a semicolon, right? Is it? Yes. So you can create any type of array. The only condition is all the elements of the array should be of same type. So यहाँ पर भी क्या है? In array 4 case also, all the elements are of same type, right? Same type means every element is having two field. One is character field, one is integer field, and so on. Two, the individual elements of an array are not named, right? All the elements of the array share the common name, that is the name of the array. And then you can access any element by its index number, right? For example, so let's say if you want to access the first element of an array, how can you access it? Let's say the name of the array is A. So if you write a of 0, so this is how you can access the first element. It is not like every element is having separate name. The whole array is having the same name. Then by using index number, you can access a particular element in the array. Next, right? Then array are always stored in contiguous memory location, right? That is one after the other. Okay, so there are two types of array, the single dimensional array and multi-dimensional array. So let's say you declare some array A and size 10. So this is a single dimensional array declaration, right? Two dimensional array, how can you declare two dimensional? Let's say you declare it like this. So it is a array of two dimensional. Three dimensional, similarly one more box will increase here, right? So that will become 3 and 4, and as many dimension you want to declare, you can declare. There is no limit defined by the language, right? But then let us start with single dimensional array. So single dimensional or one dimensional array consists of a fixed number of elements of the same data type organized as a simple linear sequence, right? So it is just a simple sequence. Like let's say your mother says you that you have to make a list of all the grocery items since lockdown is going on and you are free at your home. So after the online class, you can make the list of grocery items. So that will be an array, right? A one-dimensional array. If your mother will say, no, 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 after making the grocery item, you just write the quantity also, then it will be a two-dimensional array, right? But again, now this cannot be an array because the quantity will be an integer type of variable and the name of the grocery will be character type of string, right? Array of is characters. So now you have to declare and structure and then create a array of the structure, right? So this practice you can do in after this class. Now, how to declare a single dimensional array? Again, the same way we are saying that whatever given in bold, that is compulsory, and whatever given in bracket, that is optional. So see how we are declaring an array. So they are saying data type, then array name, that is in bold, right? So two things. First thing is data type you have to write. Then you have to write the name of the array, right? And then few optional things like size specifier, and then after equal to you can initialize the list also. So these are optional, right? But these brackets are mandatory because they have given in bold, right? So there are three ways of declaring an array, one dimensional array we are talking about. First is you can declare a one dimensional array like this. What this declaration is saying, this declaration is saying that a will be an array of size 10. A will be an integer array of size 10 and all the elements will be initialized with garbage value in this particular case. In other declaration, you can write it like this, int a, and then you leave this size here, but you specify the elements. So this is also perfectly fine, not a problem, right? So this is second valid declaration of array. The third valid declaration can be, you can declare the size also as well as the elements also, right? So here again, this is the third type of valid declaration. So here the in the first declaration, what will happen when you do something like this, some array, some memory will be allocated for this array as per the size of and the data type of this array. Here what will happen, the size will depend on the number of elements you are putting at the time of initialization, name of the array and the type of array you write it here specifically because you are not writing size. But if you want to partially initialize the array, then you can give some elements and say that no, no, this should be the size of the array, but few elements you have given, then it is called partially initialized array. And in this case, the remaining elements will be initialized with 0, right? So here you are saying int a of 10, so 10 memory will be allocated. Are you getting what I'm saying? So 10 memory will be allocated, but you are just assigning three values, 1, 2 and 3. What about the remaining one? So they all will become 0 if it is an integer array. If it is a floating point array, it will become 0.0. If it is a character array, it will become backslash 0. That is the end of string character, right? I hope it is clear. So these are the only three valid declaration for a one dimensional array. You cannot give anything other than the integral value. For example, if you write int a of 5.2, this is not valid, right? This is invalid. What is the reason? Very simple, right? We can assign 5 memory blocks, we can assign 6 memory blocks, we cannot assign 5.2 memory blocks, right? So whatever numbers you will be writing in this bracket, that much memory will be allocated for that array. So you cannot allocate 5.2 memory blocks for anything. So that is the reason we can have only integral constant inside the size of the array, right? Okay, so these are the valid one. So 3 plus 5 you can write. Size variable you can write when size का value पहले से ही पता हो, then you can write something like this. You can assign any floating point or character array like this. What is not valid, you have written something array of 1 of size j, where j is not compile time constant, then it will flash an error. You cannot write array of 3.5 because 3.5 memory blocks cannot be allocated. I hope it is clear. uh, okay, so it should be greater than or equal to 1, means it cannot be 0, right? So the size you cannot declare 0 or minus 1 or minus anything, right? So negative and 0 is not allowed in size. You can write anything greater than or equal to 1. If the type of the initializer is not the same as the element type of the array, implicit typecasting will be done, right? So this is important point. Third point, let's say what it's trying to say, let's say you have declared some array and then you are initializing it with, let's say, 2.5 comma 3.5 or something like this. Now you have declared the array as integer and you are assigning it, you are initializing it with floating point number. So what will happen, if implicit type conversion is possible between these two types, it will be done here. So here it is possible to convert float into int. It will be decremented, so 2.5 will be taken as 2, 3.5 will be treated as 3. So 2 and 3 will be stored in this array, right? So, but in the case if implicit type conversion is not possible, let's say you have written int star a of 10, and then you are assigning 2.5 and 3.5. So floating point cannot be converted to integer pointer, right? So that's, so in this particular case, you will get a compile time error कि भाई जो वादा किया है वो निभाना पड़ेगा. You have said कि उसमें integer pointer आप store करोगे and you are storing floating point variable. That is not acceptable by the compiler, right? So that is how, you have to assign the elements. For example, see in this particular program, uh, here we have declared two array, arr1, arr2. Arr1 is of integer type and we are assigning integers to it, that's fine. Arr2 is of floating point type and we are assigning some characters to it. So now this characters value will be internally stored as the ASCII integer values, and that will be considered as floating point number. So that will be promoted to floating point number. So whatever is the ASCII value of A, B and C, that will be stored as a floating point number in this particular array 2. Then you are printing this array 1 and array 2 content. So array 1 का content क्या हो जाएगा बेटा? So you are printing 0, 1 and 2. So 2, 3 and 4 will be printed out in first case. And array 2 के content क्या हो जाएंगे? So I think 65 is the ASCII value for A, capital A. So 65.000 and 66.000 and 67.000. That should be the, yeah. So that should be the output, right? It is saying कि तुमने size दिया है 5, तो मैक्सिमम अप टू 5 एलिमेंट्स आप डाल सकते हो. अगर 5 से ज्यादा एलिमेंट्स दोगे तो क्या होगा? सो सी एक्चुअली एरर नहीं शो करता एरे के केस में. अगर आप जो साइज दिए उससे ज्यादा एलिमेंट भी आप स्टोर करते हो तो वो चुपचाप स्टोर कर लेता है, बट इट मे कॉज सम अनएक्सपेक्टेड आउटपुट फॉर यू. अब अनएक्सपेक्टेड आउटपुट कैसे आएगा, क्या होगा, ये पूरी कहानी को समझो जरा एक बार. लेट्स से यू हैव डिक्लेयर्ड some array like this, int a of 2, and then you are assigning 1 2 3 4. कितना सीट रिजर्व कराए थे भाई? आपने सीट रिजर्व कराया 2. आप लोग 4 लोग ट्रेन में चढ़ गए, है ना? अब क्या है, इंडिया है, यहाँ अलाउड है, अगर जगह खाली है तो आप एडजस्ट करके बैठ जाओ, कोई बात नहीं. लेकिन अगर जगह खाली नहीं है तो हो सकता है कि आपको निकाल दिया जाए. तो ये फिक्स है नहीं कि आपके साथ क्या होने वाला है. आप स्लीपर में चढ़ पाओगे कि आपको जनरल कोच में जाना पड़ेगा. इट इज ऑल, आई मीन, सिचुएशन डिपेंडेंट. सेम हैपेंस विद सी. Here also, since you have reserved two spaces, that means if integer is taking 2 bytes, so 4 byte will be reserved for you. So your 2 integers will be saved. That is for sure. I mean, that is guaranteed. But what about next two? So if the memory is empty after this, so these two will also be stored. That's not a problem. But if this memory is belonging to some other process and that process overwrites on your values, है ना, जो तुमने 3 और 4 यहाँ स्टोर कर रखा है, वो जिसका सीट था वो अगर आ गया और वो वहां पर सोना चाहेगा तो आपको उठना पड़ेगा और आपके ऊपर वो ओवरराइट कर देगा. इन दैट केस जब आप इस वैल्यू को एक्सेस करोगे आगे के प्रोग्राम में तो हो सकता है आपको कुछ और अनयूजुअल वैल्यू मिल जाए. आई होप इट इज क्लियर, राइट? सो जितना आपने मेमोरी रिजर्व कराया है उतना सीट आपके लिए रिजर्व रहेगा. बट अगर आप उससे ज्यादा एलिमेंट डाल देते हो तो सी का कंपाइलर कुछ नहीं बोलेगा, बोलेगा ये अब आपका रिस्क है. अगर वो मेमोरी खाली है तो स्टोर रहेगा आपका वैल्यू, अगर वो मेमोरी खाली नहीं है तो वहाँ कुछ और ओवरराइट हो जाएगा तो आपको उल्टा पुल्टा जो है आउटपुट मिलेगा. बट ये कंपाइलर इसके लिए एरर जनरेट नहीं करता सी लैंग्वेज. एंड दीज आर द वैलिड इनिशियलाइजेशन ऑफ array. So you are declaring an array and then you are giving some elements, that's fine. You are again declaring some array and giving some elements, that is also fine, right? So whatever elements you are giving, it will be initialized if a is a compile time constant. Then again you are declaring some character array and then 6 size you have declared and you have stored only 5, so it will be 5 will be stored and the last will be \0, right? So these all are valid. The following declaration of single dimension is not valid. So see what is not valid. So you have just taken 2 space and you are your 5 family members are sitting in the train, so that is not valid, right? So since you have reserved only 2 seats, so ideally only 2 persons would come.